Match week 21 picks up steam in the Steel City in a rematch from the 2025 Eastern Conference Final. Rhode Island sails down the banks of the Monongahela and drops anchor in South Shore to take on Pittsburgh Riverhounds, the reigning champions of USL Championship. Welcome inside F&B Stadium alongside Jade Barquette, Jake Griffith. Glad to have you alongside us. And we open our show with a look at our Eastern Conference table here in match week 21. It's a top 8 clash. Rhode Island FC right now occupying that final slot if the playoffs were to begin today. They are somewhat nipping on the heels of Pittsburgh Riverhounds, who are looking to create some separation between themselves and Rhode Island. And thanks to Trevor Ammon, 4 goals in his last 2 matches, Jade, big reason why Pittsburgh's had success.
Absolutely, and they've really needed a response after dropping to Brooklyn and Sporting Jacks this past few weeks, but they've continued to create chances. He's been a massive part of it, and it was the fastest hat trick in league history. His focus, you think, is easy for a 9 to just get into the box and score goals, but his main goal the entire time he's on the pitch is to create in the 18-yard box.
And that fastest hat trick in league history is why he is tonight's player to watch. Sponsored by Modelo, celebrating those with a fighting spirit like Trevor Ammon, whose determination and skill truly embody the mark of a fighter. 3 goals against Lou City in that massive win, the first time they've won at home against Lou City. As for Rhode Island, they are picking up the pace, scoring in each of their last 6 matches, all competitions.
And with that win over Hartford Athletic, they actually claimed that playoff spot that you saw earlier in the standings. The defense is coming around into their form, but they're also putting the ball away a lot more. You're seeing it right there in that stat. At least 1 goal in the last 6 matches. They're going to need that tonight against this Pittsburgh side.
And a player who they'll need a lot out of is J.J. Williams, our player to watch for the visitors. 10 goal involvements in 2026.
He's the driver of the attack, and his head coach, Conno Smith, just wants him to actually score more, if you can believe it. He's done a very good job at learning to play back to goal, getting others involved in the attack, and then getting behind the ball on the other side to either put the ball away or assist it as well.
J.J. Williams, he's had success in the goal-scoring category this year, but that's an area that Rhode Island all-time have not had success in against Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They've never scored in USL Championship play against the home side. Kickoff and starters when we return to Pittsburgh.
At FNB, we're not just changing the skyline of Pittsburgh, we're reshaping the landscape of banking, building a new headquarters in the Hill District, making a $1 billion impact in our region, fueling growth, revitalizing neighborhoods, creating opportunities. Because when our city rises, we all rise. Your bank might do business here. We're building a brighter future here.
Can your bank do that?
Welcome to FNB. Let's get started.
Join us, Sports of Pittsburgh, a celebration of Italian heritage in Pittsburgh. Go get your tickets now. And remember, that's FMB Stadium, July 29th versus FC Tulsa.
Our blueprint at 84 Lumber started with the simplest of ideas. Hire good people, provide excellent service, add value. From that foundation, we created our structure and shaped an industry. We build projects, homes, dreams, neighborhoods. We build careers, lives, futures. We build success. 84 Lumber.
Hi, I'm Dustin.
I'm Kim.
And I'm Grace.
And we're Dustin Buys Houses.
My parents buy houses for cash.
With a call to make in the Pittsburgh area
To sell your as-is property fast.
We buy fixer-uppers, foreclosures, rented or vacant.
Or a nicer home you just need out of. We buy them all.
Plus, you don't pay any fees. Takes just a few minutes on the phone
To see if our family can help yours.
Call 412-615-0000.
Approaching kickoff in Pittsburgh between Rhode Island and Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Back here on ESPN Plus. Glad to have you with us and a chance to look at how these sides will line things up this evening in what is sure to be another exciting matchup in this series between Rhode Island and Pittsburgh, who under the direction of manager Rob Vincent go with a 4-4-2. Jade, it's an unchanged 11 from last match week.
You're going to see a lot of rotation from the back line with Perrin Bards going into the midfield with Robbie Mertz. Robbie Mertz will invert himself so Perrin Barnes can create that numbers overload. They can go higher up the pitch and really off-balance this Rhode Island side.
Starting lineups presented tonight by IC Light, and for the visitors, Rhode Island, a 4-4-2 as well, and they make 2 personnel changes.
It's going to be Noah and Sanchez are going to be the changes, Noah Fuson, sorry, in the midfield for Rhode Island. But here we want to highlight Jojea Quizera, 10 assists in his Rhode Island FC career, 5 goals this season.
All set to go between Rhode Island FC and Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Abdu Injai is our center referee. The Steel Army is here in attendance. It is expected to be a packed crowd tonight here at the Fort. It's also the Odyssey night. And we had a lot of time to talk about that before we went on air. Not ashamed to admit, I've already seen the Odyssey 4 times so far.
I'm glad we're getting the number out of the way. I was going to make it known at some point that you'd seen it multiple times. I have not seen it, but I think I'm well-versed enough to have a conversation about it. Don't set me up for failure, though.
Hey, listen, absolutely not. It's a fantastic movie, and they're going to have games at halftime, and there's special food items, but the most important thing is the contest at hand. Pittsburgh trying to make it back-to-back wins. They took down Lou City last time out 3-1. Rhode Island, they're coming in on the heels of a win in El Clamico over their rivals, Hartford Athletic. Held Hartford Athletic to 0 shots on target in that contest. Abdu Injai has everyone set to go. It's Pittsburgh in the all-black kits, Rhode Island in the all-white. There is that opening whistle. The ball is officially rolling here at F&B Stadium, and that means we are underway in this match week 21 tilt. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is the site alongside Jade Barquette. Jake Griffith, glad to have you with us for this one. In Rhode Island, they'll thump this one in behind, or at least attempt to, looking to pick out J.J. Williams. Over to Rodriguez, and now knocked out of play. It will be a throw for Pittsburgh over on this near touchline. There is a look at Rob Vincent in his first full year as the manager of Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Took over at the start of last year in an interim basis, led this team to the USL Championship title. That ball will spill into the Rhode Island penalty area. Coque Vegas will pick things up. Let's take a look at tonight's building a win, our keys to the game, Jade.
For the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, they have to be organized in their press, not allow Rhode Island to get out easily when they're trying to build up. And then for Rhode Island on the other side, defending the wide area as well. Perrin Barnes can get in the box so quickly with how he can serve balls in those overload numbers. Looking for this ball flicked into the area and nodded out of play by Owen McCoy. It goes out for the first corner of the night. McCoy, the former Kentucky Wildcat, acquired by this Pittsburgh Riverhounds side at the start of 2026, making his 13th appearance, has made as many starts as well. Rhode Island, they have been dangerous on set pieces this year. They go the short route in, but they've scored 3 times on corners in 2026. Quizera hacks this one toward goal, headed off the side netting. And that is where Camposano will let it go out of play. Abdu Injai charging in, though, saying it did take a deflection off that Hounds defender, so it'll stay here. Consecutive corners now. Real dangerous spot if you're the Riverhounds defense early on. Absolutely, and they went short there. Jackson Walty just took his eye off the ball. You see him just turn around right there. Wasn't aware that they were going short and playing that quickly. That's something the Riverhounds have to pay attention to because this Rhode Island team is going to want to capitalize on these set pieces.
I know Shapiro Thompson was set to swing that ball in. Some pushing and shoving in that area that our center referee wanted to sort through first. They went short the first time around. They do have the short option in Quizera next to Shapiro Thompson. And now at the last moment, as that ball comes in, there's a whistle for a foul. Despite giving up 2 early corners, Pittsburgh Riverhounds, they come away unscathed. And play will resume off the goal clearance. For this Riverhounds side, the win against Louisville. Rob Vincent told us earlier in the week that the response from the mental standpoint was the biggest thing that stood out to him, coming in off the back of 3 matches in an 8-day span. And even though it was scoreless at the half, they really took it to Lou City in those final 45 minutes.
They truly needed a big response at home. We talked about it in the beginning of the broadcast. They go down 2-0 to Brooklyn and they lose 2-1 to Sporting Jacks. They needed to come back home and make a statement against Lou City, and getting that 3-1 victory was massive for their team. He said that they continued to keep Lou City at arm's length away. Even when they were ahead, they continued to put the pressure not only on Lou City, but on the ball itself, passing it around quickly, trying to create more chances for themselves, knowing that they had to make a statement back in front of their home fans.
I thought it was so interesting, too, because he also reflected back with us the first time around they faced Lou City. And he said when that contest was 2-0, they walked away from that game feeling like Lou City battered them, even though Pittsburgh had the advantage in that contest.
It's so important just to continue to play for the 90 minutes. I feel like that's what he emphasized with us in this past match, was that no matter what the score was or how much time was left, they were going to play till that final whistle. And he felt like after they walked away from this most recent match, they had that feeling of knowing they did everything that they could.
Tonight's injury report is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network, the official medical provider of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC. A couple of injuries to report for both sides, specifically for Rhode Island. Jamin Gogo Peters, who was announced earlier this week, will miss the remainder of the 2026 campaign with that ACL injury. Such a tough break for Gogo Peters. Sanchez will have the throw in for Rhode Island. We touched on it right before this contest kicked off. The win against Hartford Athletic, as the visitors will build from the back. The phrase that Cano Smith used was, there's no passive pressure at this club. Said he wanted their intensity to be very high from the opening whistle all the way through the 90 minutes. And they set that line of pressure so deep, and it really negated Hartford's ability to deal with what he called chaos in that game.
Yeah, they didn't allow a shot on goal from Hartford for that reason. They sat back, but not intentionally to invite the pressure, but really just to allow themselves to play out of that pressure, and it shone very well. He was pleased with the outcome of that game. And like you mentioned, he said no matter where Rhode Island is defensively, whether they're defending higher up the pitch or lower in their block, the intensity is always going to be the same. And they really want to negate those second chance opportunities, which is going to be massive today. Pittsburgh floods the box when they do get in the final third. And if Rhode Island can just clear the ball away very immediately after that first wave comes in, they'll have a better chance of resetting higher up the pitch once they do regain possession.
Rhode Island will recycle this ball around. One player that really stood out when you go back and watch that win against Hartford Athletic was Grant Stoneman. He really kept things very organized, especially as that contest got later and later. You saw Hartford wanting to get vertical in that game. He kept that defensive line very solid, and that helped them keep that clean sheet. Real standout performance. Maybe not one that's going to jump off the page at you on the stat sheet, so to speak, as that ball whipped ahead and possessed by Vegas. Back to Coque Vegas. Retreating a bit here is Rhode Island. Bacharach trying to advance this ball forward, successfully will. Rolls it out to his right and will receive it back in. Former Minnesota United man. Missed some time last year due to injury about the first half of the season. We got back to full fitness here in 2026. The former Indiana Hoosier, an important part of this Rhode Island side. 14 appearances, including tonight. Going to work it along back to Rodriguez, the Argentine. Dispossessed, though, and Riverhounds looking to transition back into their attacking posture. Here is Danny Griffin, the captain. McCoy. Now up ahead in stride. Here's Perrin Barnes, a player that you have highlighted a handful of times so far in this contest because of the way he provides that width. And that width, as you mentioned, so important for what Pittsburgh wants to do.
Yeah, and you're seeing it right here. Robbie Mertz dropped the ball back into the back line right now, back to Victor Souza, but Perrin Barnes is higher up on this near side, off screen right now, trying to get into the attacking half.
Trying to cut this ball across the face of goal. Spilling still around in front. And finally hacked clear by Rhode Island.
What has really given Pittsburgh the edge in recent matches is their ability to play free on the pitch. There is a plan A, but they switch to plan B and C, and their rotation on the field is so fluid. That's a part of just learning one another, who they're playing with on the pitch. You mentioned last season, this is a rematch, but there's 12 new members, or 13, excuse me, newcomers on this Pittsburgh roster that weren't around for that game. And so now that they've learned each other as the season has gone on, it's become more fluid on how they play with one another, and you're seeing it progress in matches where those little unforced errors where you're trying to play into space thinking someone's going to be there, those are getting worked out, those kinks are getting worked out because they've played together more and they're having more ability to be free on the pitch.
Springing free here is Rhode Island, looking to switch the point of the attack, and they do successfully. Here's Fuson, back across the face of goal. Hits that out of play, though, and Pittsburgh will have a goal clearance. It's time for the Chatham University fact of the game. Fans, if you're looking for a safe bet on Independence Day, look no further than right here at F&B Stadium. Historically, the Riverhounds hold a dominant home record across their last 8 total July 4th fixtures played in Pittsburgh. That includes last year's thriller. The Hounds picked up a gritty 1-0 clean sheet victory over New Mexico United in front of a packed Holiday crowd. The Hounds looking to keep that streak going strong at home. They have the 3rd most home wins in USL Championship history. A 109, 56, and 64 all-time record here at F&B Stadium. Clipped along, out wide though, and that is where Campuzano will corral that ball in.
And why wouldn't you want to come out to a match here? It's beautiful. What a venue, and you have the river right behind you. Scenic.
Great sight lines
yes.
here at F&B Stadium. So the home of their women's team, Pittsburgh Riveters, that they launched 2 seasons ago. It's really been impressive, and I thought Devin Kerr, lead analyst for USL Championship on their CBS coverage, he brought this up in an interview on a recent podcast with Pittsburgh Soccer Now, one of the publications that covers this Riverhounds and Riveters side. And Devin Kerr talked a lot about the investment that has been made in this organization. They launch a women's team. They've renovated this stadium. They've added training grounds. You can tell this is a club that's very committed to winning, and it's showing up not just away from the field, but the results speak for themselves on the field as well.
That's the #1 thing that we want in this country for men's and women's sports, to both be invested in by the clubs that have already established with these men's team sides. You see it with Lexington and what they did last year with the Gainbridge Super League and the championship that Lexington won, and the men's side is still growing as well, but it's about the investment. And if people see what they can do with these clubs and these teams, and the fan support is already there clearly, why not try and why not invest and see what can grow there?
Obviously the future bright in USL on the men's side with promotion relegation coming, the addition of a USL Premier level. It was something that was in the release the club put out when they announced they'd hired Rob Vincent on a full-time basis to take over as the manager of this club. They feel like he gives them that strong outlook as they hope to transition one day into what ultimately will be the top flight of USL. We get a whistle for a stoppage from Amdu Njai. That ball took a deflection off the arm of a Riverhounds man, so it will be a resumption off a free kick. Watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Sanchez tried to go ahead with it over to Rodriguez. They re-corral it back in, and it's over to Sanchez. Now swung out wide. One thing that this Pittsburgh Riverhounds side will want to key in on, Rhode Island, they love to build out from the back. And you talked about that idea earlier of Pittsburgh crowding things in, wanting to maybe use their press to try to manipulate Rhode Island a little bit. It does put the onus on the visitors to find ways to bypass those lines of pressure, though. Tracking that ball down. Here's Robbie Mertz. Mertz with options. Doesn't like those options. Instead, it's Barnes. He'll hang this back post. Nodded away shortly. Still free, though, top of the area. And Rhode Island a chance to break out here. Steering clear of one would-be challenge was Rodriguez. Good glancing header along. Bacharach turning. Now here's Sanchez, the former Sacramento Republic man, spent some time with Portland Timbers 2 back in their days in the levels of USL. Rodriguez will hand it off over to Shapiro Thompson. Centrally now, here come Rhode Island. They'll slip this one ahead. Sanchez in behind, wants the cross in toward goal, punched away. Campuzano got a hand to it. Still not clear, the rebound fired over the bar though. And that will finally sail out of play. We talked about Rhode Island preventing chaos last week. Now they're causing it here.
Well, and they're creating in different ways. We saw earlier in this match they were trying to use set pieces. They're going wide areas, just 1- and 2-touch passes to really get in behind this Pittsburgh back line. And then that ball was just released a little bit too early. Unfortunate shot there by Grant Stoneman, but Pittsburgh has to be aware of the ways that Rhode Island is advancing up the field. They're switching the point of attack. They're being very patient in their buildup. They're allowing Pittsburgh to come out of their shape, and then they're pinning them inside. They're going wide and then putting the ball back in the box.
That's when Rhode Island are at their best, when they can spread the game out, keep teams pinned back in their half. And it was something that Rob Vincent keyed in on when we chatted with him. This Rhode Island team, they're so hard to nail down because they have such a wide variety of players who can break you down.
Players and ways that they're very creative when it gets into that final third, and even their midfield third, they're going to be patient. You're seeing here, they're checking out all the ways that Pittsburgh is closing off gaps, and then if they need to go more direct, like you're seeing these long balls up higher to their front line, they will try to win that second ball underneath to then go forward. Pittsburgh has to calm the game down and really get control of the possession, because right now it has been Rhode Island this entire 17 minutes.
A lot of one-way traffic so far. And Rhode Island, they do have the shooting numbers to back that up. A handful of shots early on, so we have crossed over the 15-minute mark. Whipped up ahead again. Now trying to shake free is Fusen. Jumping out off his line, but can't corral that ball in was Campuzano. There have been some nervy, almost frantic moments less than 20 minutes in for Pittsburgh.
Rhode Island's doing just a very good job of disrupting them right now, not allowing Pittsburgh to get the ball. Second balls have been so important for Rhode Island's success. You'll see here, Campuzano just comes out of the box trying to make the save, but slides there on the ground just a little too far. Did a good job of getting that ball out of his hands.
Play back underway, and Pittsburgh going long with it now. Official wags the finger and says no foul given, which will draw a fair share of boos from this home crowd. Lifted forward, trying to pick out J.J. Williams. Instead, one back here by the Hounds. Counter is on. Over to Mertz. Telegraphed pass, though, intercepted. Here is Rodriguez turning it upfield toward J.J. Williams. We highlighted J.J. Williams at the top of our broadcast, and for good reason. Leads the team in goals, leads the team in assists, leads the team in shots on target per 90 minutes. A real dynamic player, the all-time leader in career goals at this club. Here's the Spaniard, Coque Vegas. He'll roll it back out. Third season in Rhode Island, was the club's first ever signing when they launched ahead of their inaugural 2024 campaign. IFC, they're trying to recapture some of that magic of that 2024 season. They romped all the way to the championship final, narrowly lost to Colorado Springs Switchbacks back in 2024. Racing unopposed down that channel is Bacharach. Has help to his right, finds Quizera, who puts it in front, deflected away. Back along and up ahead. Space to move now if you're the Riverhounds. They don't have the numbers, and so they will slow things up. Lifted toward goal, across the face of it. No one on the receiving end. That is that idea, though, of what Pittsburgh wants to do. Get in those wide areas, whip those crosses into dangerous positions. Watch the USL on ESPN2 August 1st for a championship battle of powerhouse teams from the Eastern Conference. First place, Tampa Bay Rowdies aim to keep the top spot with a win over reigning Players' Shield winners Lou City, Saturday, August 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Louisville City trying to sort of kick the tires a bit on their season under interim manager Simon Bird. As for Tampa Bay Rowdies, they are right back to where they feel like they belong under Dom Casciato. Looked up ahead, but out of the reach there of Lasse Kelp, the German. Spent some time collegiately at Maryland under Sasho Sarabski. There's a second ball still on the pitch, and that's where you see Rhode Island looking for a whistle from the official. It is finally cleared off the pitch.
I think the ball boy got some cheers, which we love to see.
Griffin will roll this one along. We're trying to go out wide with it. In the right place, right time was Fusen, former forward Madison man. Quizera in behind, wanting Scardina, and instead lifted away from danger again by the defense of Pittsburgh. It'll go sailing out of play. And the Hounds will have a throw in over on that far touchline. For Pittsburgh, they have played 15 matches already, so this represents the halfway point, or at least the back half of their 2026 season. And Rob Vincent, he reflected on the first half of the year, and he picked out guys like Lasse Kelp as players who have come in as rookies, and he said it's been a surprise that they've played so much, but you could just tell the tone of his voice. He was so proud of the way Kelp has attacked his opportunities, has utmost faith in Lasse Kelp.
Him, Owen McCoy, and Nico Campuzano are three of the guys who are really rookies that have come in this year and played significant minutes and owned the moment. He's really didn't expect them to necessarily have as much of an impact as they did in the beginning of the season, but when they've had to step up and make decisions and be decisive on the pitch, they've done that, and he really gave them the credit for their defensive stability being what it is today and growing to what that has been their strength of this club, and allowing those rookies to have those make mistakes but also be in those moments has been huge for him and their club.
Here's Dequa trying to get past that final defender. There is a late whistle, and said defender is down. Albert Dequa now in his second stint in a Riverhound shirt. Spent some time in Rhode Island. Not a fan of the call, though.
Just comes a little bit from behind there. Maybe doesn't necessarily mean to push him down, but it will get called because it was from the back. Anything that Pittsburgh has had offensively has really been stifled by either a call or just a misplacement by them.
15th start of the season tonight for the Rhode Island captain, Coque Vegas. Made 25 saves, allowed 18 goals. Cano Smith He told us earlier this week that he's our captain for a reason, but he feels like he's grown so much as a leader in that regard over the course of this 2026 season.
When you have a guy that's so confident like him behind your team, it gives the rest of the team confidence going forward. And he's like a security blanket to them in ways that they can use him when they're trying to build up and in possession, but also when, you know, shots come in the box, they are very confident that he can do his job. He's vocal, he's going to position players like you would want in your goalkeeper, but he's also going to come up and make the big save when they need him to as well.
They change the point of the attack again for the Riverhounds. Instead, Amos Shapiro-Thompson, the Massachusetts native, will jump on that ball. Still the 2 shots for Rhode Island. They do have 2 touches in the opposition penalty area. Right now holding Pittsburgh to just 39% share of the ball. It was something that was somewhat of a message from Rob Vincent to his team this week, that they needed to have field tilt in their favor in this game. Felt like they did it well against Louisville City. Has not come as easy so far tonight.
Well, it comes easily when they have the ball more, and they just have not had possession at all. And the number overload that you're talking about with the tilt is the Perrin Barnes getting into the midfield and then getting in the box. And we haven't called number 7's name whatsoever this match. And if Pittsburgh wants to have any sort of offensive opportunity, Trevor has to get on the ball more. But they have to have the ball to really do that.
Hammond just 9 touches so far in this contest, threaded through centrally and cleared away. Rolled back over by Scardina. Now this cross in toward Campuzano, who leaps and makes that grab. Just based on the quality of the 2 netminders for Pittsburgh and Rhode Island, goals surely will be at a premium in this contest.
Nico's done a good job so far here in this match. He's had to, you know, come up big, almost come out of his box to make saves a few times on either side to keep his team in it, but he's been very active off of his line. The confidence that he has is going to be helpful for this Pittsburgh side, especially when they're having some trouble with possession right now and keeping the ball. Knowing that their goalkeeper is locked in, tuned in, is helping them so much. Koke Vegas has really only been asked to use his feet here in this match, and he's done a very good job facilitating the possession with the press of Pitt, whether he plays to the side or he has to go long. He's done both jobs very well.
Barnes throw-in glanced out of play by Rhode Island, so they will have a second bite of the apple here on this near touchline. And it off back to Perrin Barnes. A delayed whistle as Dequat was dragged down. Both he and Frank Nodarce, they've been going at it just a little bit. A couple guys familiar with one another. We mentioned a moment ago that Dequat, he spent 2 seasons in Rhode Island, 24 and 25, 13 goals. Albeit from a sharp angle here, Goldthorpe and Pittsburgh will have their first attacking half free kick of this contest, almost 30 minutes deep into the fixture. Just once so far in 2026, Rob Vincent's bunch have scored off a free kick. Goldthorpe, the offseason acquisition from Lexington, swings this back stick. The heads go up, and it goes over the crossbar and out. It will stay here, though, for a corner.
Fantastic service in by Goldthorpe. You see bodies colliding in the box. This ball in swinging, so all he needed was somebody to run onto it. And it really looked like Danny Griffin got most of the head on there, and they will have an opportunity for another set piece here on a corner kick.
This corner kick presented by Cohen Markets. It's the first of the evening for Pittsburgh Riverhounds. It's been a strong point at times throughout the course of their club history. But so far this year, just one corner goal scored in 2026. Goldthorpe in swinging ball. First to it is Rhode Island, but not clear yet. And now it is cleared away, albeit awkwardly out of play. And Pittsburgh will have another throw. It took a little bit of time for this Riverhounds attack to show some signs of life, but they now are ramping up the pressure more and more. He was trying to volley that ball in behind. Now here's Ammon heading it along, reigning player of the week in USL Championship. Defender got the lines wrong, and it will sail out for another throw as Perrin Barnes watches it go out.
Fans, that's another Pella crowd save. And that fan also earned themselves a mini soccer ball. Pella windows and doors, keeping the view clear at FNB Stadium.
Jackson Walty backing up for a long throw in toward this final third. Former Pitt Panther, 56th pick in the MLS draft back in 2023. Walty, long toss ahead, falls right to the spot, ricocheting around. Hammond got a piece of it initially, but it is hammered clear by Rhode Island. And there is Campazano to set things back up for Pittsburgh. Long, booming ball forward. And Pittsburgh will get a throw out of it.
That was actually a perfect ball to Robbie Mertzer, who was on this near touchline. Long throws are so helpful, and they can be a set piece of their own. Walty put that one right on the edge of the 6-yard box, and he'll do it here again. There has to be someone to get that initial flick or that initial ball down, and it's usually the second or third touch that would hopefully go in the back of the net for a team who's doing this long throw.
Walty chucks it back into the area and met first by the head of J.J. Williams. Headed back along by Pittsburgh. Still pinballing around, and ultimately a whistle will sound as Williams goes down. We see so many teams in the modern game of soccer that adopt those long throw-ins. I remember a couple years ago having a conversation with longtime MLS Next Pro manager John Hackworth about how do you attack those defensively. He said you have to layer your defensive runs, always be moving around, because to your point, the second and third ball, they can be so dangerous. The Hounds are back at FNB Stadium on Wednesday, July 29th for a rematch of last year's championship match against FC Tulsa. Join us for Italian Heritage Night as the defending champions face the team they defeated to lift the trophy last year. Don't miss another chapter in this championship rivalry. Get your tickets at riverhounds.com. Also scan the QR code on your screen there. Barnes went down. Another whistle will sound from Abdu Njai. This has been a first half that we have seen a fair share of stoppages. We knew it was going to be a physical contest coming into this match. How much do you think that plays a factor so far in both teams having some issues getting into an offensive rhythm?
I think, honestly, it's pretty standard right now. I haven't seen anything that's too crazy in terms of fouls or long periods of stoppages. We thankfully haven't had any injuries either, but I think both teams are just disrupting each other's run of play very well in terms of regaining the ball or regaining possession and having those transition moments and opportunities. That's been really the main focus, is these type of set pieces where there is an offsides call or just a mini stoppage that breaks up the momentum of the game.
Okay, Vegas will wave players forward and get play resumed off the free kick. You can almost feel it and hear it, the angst from these Pittsburgh fans trying to will their team into a lead here as we close in on the final 15 minutes into the later stages of this opening 45. As Perrin Barnes will have another throw.
And the Riverhounds have yet to record a shot or a shot on goal here in this first half. I'm sure they would like a 1-for-1 scenario. These fans would, a shot and a goal.
It has been interesting to see the evolution post-Bob Lilly era of this Pittsburgh team, because for so long they were known as that tough-minded defensive team, that sort of steel curtain, so to speak, where they don't allow a lot of goals. They're trying to be a little bit more adventurous offensively, but they still have that bite about them defensively. This ball whipped in and nodded out of play by Owen McCoy. I mentioned Owen McCoy earlier in our conversation with Rob Vincent about how well he's played on the back line. He's had a couple important headers away from danger so far. Amos Shapiro-Thompson, the former Red Bull New York and Red Bull New York 2 midfielder, will have the third corner of the evening for Rhode Island FC. Swung in toward that penalty spot and first met by Ammon with the header away. Quizera. Quizera stands up across top of the box, clipped in toward goal, and that is where Campuzano will grab that. Souza rolls it forward. Now peeled back over to Robbie Mertz, a name that, if you're a Rhode Island fan, you cringe a little bit hearing that. He scored the match winner in last year's Eastern Conference Final that sent Pittsburgh to that match at 1OK Field against FC Tulsa, a match they ended up coming out on the right side of the penalty shootout of. Ball movement right now for the Riverhounds. Griffin gives it up. Lifted up ahead, headed toward goal. A wonderful save by Koke Vegas at full stretch.
And that's exactly what the Pittsburgh Riverhounds are looking for. It was their longest bout of possession this entire game, but this ball clipped in to none other than Perrin Barnes, your supposed right back, getting in the box, overloading the back line for Rhode Island. And it was the first time Pittsburgh was actually in the attacking half in possession.
Almost 35 minutes, and Pittsburgh Riverhounds have their first shot on target of this match. Meanwhile, Hugo Bacharach is down after a collision in midair. But going back to Perrin Barnes, that is something that just makes him so special when he's able to get in to that attacking half. As we look back at the foul. Rob Vincent said his ability to read the attacking phase of the game has been crucial to Pittsburgh's success in 2026. I feel like he has just such a knack for knowing when to step high versus when to stay home. Barnes will toss it back into resume play and receives it right back. Appeals for a foul go unanswered from Pittsburgh, and it's cycled back over to Koke Vegas, the Spaniard. Looking to stretch things out just a bit here for Rhode Island. Take some pressure off. Short-lived, though. Jackson Walty will come back up with it, and now turning upfield with this one is Pittsburgh. Barnes. Late arrival, he finds Souza. Coming over in the offseason, spent 3 years with New England Revolution. Majority of that time with New England Revolution 2. Flicked on and ahead, nodded down. Here's Dikwa, but the offside flag will come up.
But a lot better from the Riverhounds. They're growing into this match as it's coming along. They win the second ball in the air from the long ball, and then with sane possession, they didn't give it away. They weren't freaking out about trying to get that second pass. They were patient with how they were going to connect, and then just were trying to go direct towards the central part of the pitch. Just didn't work out for them that time with the stretching of the back lines, something that they want to do. If you're offsides a few times, you can take that when you're trying to just make those runs in behind. They haven't had it in this match so far, but as they've grown into this game, they've put more pressure on Rhode Island.
And you mentioned the word frantic, controlled, right? Those are all things that Rob Vincent had said. We want to, yes, advance the ball so quickly up the field, but it must be in a controlled manner. And we're starting to see more of that throughout the late stages of this opening half. Walty tries to clip it along. Short clearance away. Running onto it is Griffin. And Griffin is dispossessed. McCoy returning the favor, though. Looking for the give and go. Back down that outside channel. Not going to find it. Scardina run into, and we get a whistle.
But even with Pittsburgh going into this match, Rhode Island has stayed very steady, very strong. They're winning the ball back. They're working extremely hard defensively to win the ball back, whether it's sending 1 or 2 or 3 men out to defend the ball. They are doing a fantastic job of that. They're staying with their defensive line together. They're not getting separated with runs from Trevor in through the back line. They're allowing him to run off sides, but staying compact together, and that's helping them a lot.
Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Quizera just run off the ball there by Pittsburgh. And Goldthorpe. Still Goldthorpe now. He'll swing this in front of goal. No one able to run onto it. He's going to pick out Mertz. Souza repossesses off the clearance, and Pittsburgh back in possession with it. He retreats momentarily. Now he will get it up on this right-hand side. Because of the mid-block of this Rhode Island defense, you're not going to see Pittsburgh go too long. They're going to try to break lines going on the ground and having some success doing that, at least here at the moment. Goldthorpe dips the shoulder, tries to cut back inside, and ultimately wins a corner out of that. Second time the Riverhounds have had a corner this evening. It's a Cohen Markets corner kick for Elliot Goldthorpe and the home side, Pittsburgh Riverhounds. This Rhode Island side, they have been susceptible to conceding goals off corners 4 times this year. They have conceded corner goals. More jockeying for positioning inside that 6-yard box, which draws a whistle from Abdu Njai. All things cleared up there. Goldthorpe can go back to the well with this one. High arching, in swinging to the near post. Nodded away initially by Rhode Island. Now we get a whistle. That'll be a foul shown to Trevor Ammon, one that he is none too pleased with. Cano Smith for Rhode Island, their 3rd-year manager, appointed manager ahead of their inaugural season in 2024. Spent the prior 5 seasons with Birmingham Legion as an assistant to play back underway. Trying to head it back along in the vicinity of Dequa, and now lofted up ahead. Goldthorpe on it now, sliding back centrally, now wide again. Goldthorpe pawed over the bar and out of play by Coque Vegas.
Goldthorpe has 1-1 all half. He's been so active on that far side, cuts inside, then uses his left foot here to rip a shot, and what a save by Coque Vegas. That one was at point blank range a rocket from Goldthorpe. And he had to parry that one over the bar. Pittsburgh can be so active in these moments late in halves, being able to put the ball away even though they haven't had a ton of possession opportunities.
Another Cohen Markets corner kick for Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Third of the half, second in the last 2.5 or so minutes. They've really come alive these last 10, 15 minutes the Riverhounds have. Goldthorpe drills this, back stick, falls in front, still free, and trickles wide. Albert Dequa had gone down in the area, wanted a whistle and won't get one.
First of all, it was a beautiful ball in by Goldthorpe. Koke Vegas comes up and tries to make the save, but it looks like he got most of Dequa's face in that process of punching the ball away. There were a ton of Rhode Island defenders in the way of that second shot, so no idea if that was going to amount to anything, but Dequa took a punch to the face in that clearance.
Albert Dequa not pleased with the lack of a whistle. Neither are the Riverhounds fans here at FNB Stadium, but play continues on, and you even see the Pittsburgh coaching staff having a chat with the fourth official. And now more physicality here, and this will draw a whistle and our first yellow of the contest. Augustine Rodriguez will go into the book of Abdu Njai.
There's been a lot of pushing and shoving here between these two men that we've seen, but that wasn't where the foul's called. It'll be called. It'd be right here. Perrin Barnes just getting his jersey pulled there by Rodriguez as they were battling it out. Barnes had beaten him, and then Rodriguez trying to gain the ball back. Just a little snug of a tug on the jersey. And we'll get booked for it. First booking of the night. And we're late into the first half here, so second half is going to, I would assume, have a lot of action in it.
Well, both managers played coy when we talked to them about, hey, what are you thinking, right? It's a rematch of the Eastern Conference Final. They both downplayed it a little bit, but not only is there that idea of it being the rematch of last year's East Final, but both these teams are right in the thick of this playoff push. There's a lot on the line tonight. On the restart, whipped in toward goal and headed away by Rhode Island. The clearance falls at the feet of Robbie Mertz. Just 1 minute of added time at the end of this first 45. Takes a deflection off Jordan Griffin, hacked away. And Quizera will try to race it down. First to it, though, is Campuzano. Quickly restarted off the whistle for the handball. 60 seconds of stoppage time given, and it's quickly expiring here. Campuzano will let it roll into his possession. And there is the whistle from Abdu Njai. We've reached the intermission in Pittsburgh. No score to be found through 45 minutes.
I mean, it's been a tight one. Both these teams clashing right now, not really gaining true possession of the ball or really implementing what they want to play into this match, but I feel like this next 45 minutes, they're going to have to settle down. The nerves and emotions will calm down, and they'll be able to play better soccer.
A scoreless opening half in the Steel City in a rematch of last year's Eastern Conference Final. 0-0 through 45 minutes of play between Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Rhode Island FC. Stick with us. Our halftime report on the other side. Halftime is presented by 84 Lumber.
Here in Pittsburgh, strength, pride, and teamwork matter. Just like at home, Genius Exteriors, a top-rated roofing, siding, windows, and doors contractor. Call now and get 50% off roofing materials, plus no payments till 2027. And we're proud to offer an extra 10% military discount. Schedule your free, no-obligation home inspection today. Call 412-528-6526. Home Genius Exteriors, proud sponsor of your Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
In 2025, Pittsburgh proved once again champions live here. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds, USL champions, built on grit, strength, and performance. And when it comes to protecting your home, there's a champion there too. Pella Windows and Doors, one of the most trusted names in windows, built for performance and proud partner of the 2025 champion Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And for fans, get 55% off installation and an additional $500 when you mention the Riverhounds. Pella Windows and Doors, built like champions.
We've reached the 45-minute marker in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's halftime between the Riverhounds and Rhode Island FC. Halftime presented by 84 Lumber. Well, last week when CBS Sports was here in town, Lindsay Zarniak caught up with Robbie Mertz.
Okay, so you're from the suburbs of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Right? So what was that like growing up here?
Well, I think I got a big part of really the Pittsburgh, the tradition and the culture from some of my family, because I have grandparents and great-grandparents that put their roots down in this city and who were a part of it, I guess, more at the time that people think of Pittsburgh with like the steel mills and the rivers and what they meant to the United States in general. So I definitely have a part of that history in me, but then from the sports side of things, obviously, I grew up on the Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates, and that really runs deep as well.
And so you obviously grew up playing soccer here, and to be able to come back and be here as one of the leaders of the USL team, what is that like?
It's been a dream, honestly, that I don't necessarily think I had at a young age, and you'll hear people at this club talk about how much it's grown, and so I do think now we're getting to a point where kids growing up in the area, they aspire to play for the Riverhounds, which is incredible.
So this is it, right?
Yeah, this is it.
All right, should we check it out?
Yeah,
okay.
let's do it.
This is great, thanks.
You can definitely feel it when you walk in there. It's like, you know you're in Pittsburgh.
Okay, so when you think like classic Pittsburgh, what are things that make something classic Pittsburgh?
I think it always has, whatever the place is or the person, like it always has a little bit of that grittiness to it.
Yeah.
And I think people from around the country kind of recognize that in Pittsburgh as well. I know that like, again, when you talk about like the reputation in a national context, like I've gone away to school, I know like how people view Pittsburgh and everything, but like we really like embrace that, and we embrace our history and like who it makes the city into now.
So for you, you went to Michigan, you played there, coming back to play here on this team for the Riverhounds. I mean, that's a different level of like your roots. What is that like?
I didn't really know how much it would end up meaning to me.
Yeah.
But again, like with just my career kind of coinciding with this new era of the Riverhounds and like the growth that we've seen in this community, like it's just amazing to go around and to meet some of the kids that come to the games and,
so cool.
And see how they look up to me in a way that I never would have expected.
Oh my God.
This is proper just on paper and everything.
Yep, just on paper. We slide these apart here and basically smash the sandwich. Smash it down, pick what side you want, and dive right in.
My kids would love this. This is amazing. It's a dream. Cheers.
And Wilson scores! Finally a breakthrough for Louisville.
You ever just look at them and think, yeah, I'm doing all right?
This summer, get 1,000 bonus points and a chance to win 250,000 bonus points.
Hay mucha fiesta, señor Martino. Hay sed de revancha, doctor. Pero falta gol. Estamos a esperar a un gol. ¿Hugo Sánchez? Sí, tira para adelante. ¿Quién maneja? ¿Un futbolista? ¡Llegamos por fin! ¡Ay, bendito sea el chapar, doctor! Hugo, ¿regreso a las canchas? ¿Algún consejo?
Sí, confía y cree en ti.
¡Ey! ¡Vas al norte!
A donde me dé la oportunidad, pero listo para dar el paso.
¡Listo, vámonos!
This is your moment.
Prinks Tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines. From early mornings to late nights. From fun with friends to winner takes all. From the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinks Tires will be there for the long haul.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
In 2025, Pittsburgh proved once again champions live here. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds, USL champions, built on grit, strength, and performance. And when it comes to protecting your home, there's a champion there too. Pella Windows and Doors, one of the most trusted names in windows, built for performance and proud partner of the 2025 champion Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And for fans, get 55% off installation and an additional $500 when you mention the Riverhounds. Pella Windows and Doors, built like champions.
It's halftime in Pittsburgh. No score, but the celebrations all around here in the Steel City. 0-0 between Riverhounds SC and Rhode Island FC. Plenty of action around USL Championship here in match week 21 as we take a look at our upcoming schedule. How about that cross-conference matchup between FC Tulsa, last year's runner-up, and Lexington SC, trying to regain some of their form here in 2026.
There's a lot of fantastic soccer going on around the league. You have Sacramento and Oakland and their rivalry tonight at 10 p.m. So as soon as you get done with this one, might as well hop over and watch that one as well.
All eyes will be on that Switchbacks Charleston Battery matchup as well on CBS Sports Golazo. Battery right now second in the Eastern Conference table in USL Championship. Plenty of games all around. And then as we shift ahead a few days, Pittsburgh will be back in action on Wednesday, a midweek contest against FC Tulsa, a rematch of that USL Championship final a year ago. That will be a special game. Plenty of action to be excited about in the upcoming slate around USL Championship in match week 21. As for our contest, it's still halftime. No score between Riverhounds and Rhode Island FC. For more on USL Championship, we go to our friend, Dan Lucas.
It is halftime in the USL Championship. We hope you're enjoying the match so far. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio with a look at the headlines. It was an amazing accomplishment and USL history. Trevor Ammon's hat trick blew open Pittsburgh Riverhounds game against Louisville City. Ammon scored 3 goals in 3 minutes and 27 seconds, the fastest hat trick in league history. The Riverhounds collected a 3-1 victory on national TV. Construction is underway on Detroit City's new home. The groundbreaking for Alumni Phi Stadium took place last Wednesday with club partners, business leadership, as well as the mayor of Detroit on hand. The 15,000-seat stadium's planned opening is in 2028. The CONCACAF Under-20 Championship now underway in Mexico. 3 players from USL clubs are with the U.S. Under-20 team. Colton Swan of Charleston Battery and Brandon Days of Louisville City represent the championship. Braden Dunham represents Swarm FC of USL League Two. National Spotlight games in Championship and League One. Next Saturday, Tampa Bay hosting Louisville on ESPN2. August 5th, Richmond Kickers hosting the New York Cosmos on CBS SN. And then on the 8th, Monterey Bay hosts New Mexico United on CBS SN. This is the USL Halftime Update. Let's get you back out to your match.
The rookie E-Draft to end it and secure a title for Pittsburgh. 26 years! Pittsburgh Riverhounds 2025 USL Championship winners!
Hey, this is Anthony with Sell Pittsburgh Now. We're buying as-is houses for cash all across the Pittsburgh area. We make it quick and easy to sell your unwanted house. We buy houses as is with no repairs. Whether it needs a ton of work or is in good shape, we buy them all and pay cash fast whenever you need it. You don't need to fix up a thing or even clean up. And best of all, no fees or closing costs. We're Sell Pittsburgh Now, and we want to make you a fair cash offer. Call 412-385-0000.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Stop searching. Start a video visit with an AHN expert anytime, any day. At AHN, we see you.
Join us, Sports of Pittsburgh, a celebration of Italian heritage in Pittsburgh. So get your tickets now. And remember, that's FMB Stadium, July 29th versus FC Tulsa.
Halftime rolls on in Pittsburgh. No score between Riverhounds and Rhode Island. Halftime presented by 84 Lumber. Let's get you caught up to speed with how we got to this point with our halftime highlights presented by Corona. And despite no score between either side, Jade, there has been plenty of action, including at the beginning.
Yeah, Rhode Island really started the game off. They had a few corner kicks in that first half. This one was just floated to the back post. JJ Williams does get a head on it, but it does deflect off of his defender and will go out of bounds. But so nothing really crazy for Pittsburgh to deal with. But then as this half grew on, Pittsburgh really implemented their style of play and tried to get in the box. You see this header from Perrin Barnes just to try to flick it onto net. Koke Vegas coming up with the save he needed to make here in this half, and that wouldn't be the last time the Riverhounds had a look on goal. Elliot Goldthorpe has been so active on that far side in this first half. He cuts to his left foot and takes a ripper of a shot. Once again, a fantastic save by Koke Vegas, but Goldthorpe, the ability to get the shot off with people in front of him, massive for the Riverhounds.
As we take a look at our halftime stats presented by Restano Heating and Cooling, those two shots on target for Pittsburgh, both stopped by Koke Vegas. For Rhode Island, not much going forward in terms of offensive options.
No, and it's really honestly been even as the half has grown on. Pittsburgh is slow in those beginning stages, Rhode Island having all of the momentum, but as it grew on, it really shifted for the Riverhounds.
Both teams out of the halftime dressing room. We are set to resume here for the final 45 minutes. 3 points potentially hanging in the balance. Abdu Njai sounds the whistle. And Pittsburgh will drive that one all the way out of play and get their defense set. Long toss back ahead by Rhode Island. Skipped along off the noggin of JJ Williams. We had talked earlier in the first half about the lack of touches for Trevor Ammon. That's been a similar story for a lot of Rhode Island's heavy hitters, including a guy like J.J. Williams. Pittsburgh did a good job of holding him in check in the opening half.
There really wasn't any hard-hitting punches from either side in that first half. You saw a few shots, but nothing truly dangerous except for that one by Goldthorpe at the end. But J.J. Williams has been relatively silent besides that one flick header that he had off the corner kick in the beginning of the match. And then Trevor, we really have not called his name whatsoever here in this match with a hat trick in their last game and keeping him relatively silent. You have to tip your hat to Rhode Island today, who hasn't allowed him to receive the ball whatsoever and turn towards goal. He was offsides a few times in that first half, but that's something that they can deal with, and they're not going to really pay much attention to that as long as the ball is in front of them.
Rhode Island on the move now off the interception from Hugo Bacharach. Of course, going back to Trevor Ammon. This was when he really made his money last week. The 46th, the 48th, and then the 50th minute. 3 minutes and 27 seconds. The fastest hat trick in league history. Something that Conor Smith said, the biggest key to victory for Rhode Island, just limit their guys. Here is Bacharach stepping into that pocket. Cycled around by Fuson. Now lumped in toward goal over everyone's head. Falls out the other side toward Quizera and hacked clear by Pittsburgh. F&B Stadium is our site for what has been a real thrilling, intriguing affair so far as both these teams try to find ways to break the other down. Only seen 4 combined shots. If you like defense, this is really the fixture for you.
I don't mind defense. As a center back, it was, you know, my favorite part of the game. I would much rather stop a goal from going in than putting one in myself. So defensively, it's really all about chess pieces and moving and being very strategic in your movements off of the ball. And both teams right now are organized defensively and are breaking each other down, yes, but not having anything come of that. And that's why you're seeing this 0-0 stalemate here into the second half.
I'm glad you're knowledgeable about chess because I was always terrible at it, right?
Oh, I didn't say I could play it. I don't know. But I know that chess is very strategic.
I know for sure I can't play it. That's one thing I know is play back underway off the foul. And check that, play not back underway off. They'll retake this free kick. Abdu Njai did not like how close Rhode Island were to Lassakelp. It's been a no-nonsense official so far in this contest, doing his part to keep things within his grasp. And now play is officially back underway. Kelp will flick this on in behind. That is where Coque Vegas, the captain for Rhode Island, will come up with it. 2 crucial saves in the opening 45 minutes. It's trying to force a turnover. Now Pittsburgh, they do force that turnover. Press bears fruit. Countering quickly is Goldthorpe. Ridden down to the turf. Goldthorpe still stuck in. And now we get a whistle against Pittsburgh.
That was the first time in this match we've seen Pittsburgh pick up the ball in transition off of Rhode Island's buildup. That is what they want to do. You saw Elliot Goldthorpe, as they were building up, just throw his hands up in the air. That's because the 6, the holding defender for Rhode Island, received the ball directly from Coque Vegas, the goalkeeper. One of the 9s, either Trevor or his counterpart, have to have that 6 covered so that they cannot build out. The transition helped them, though, and saved them from it becoming anything.
Offside flag comes up over from the far assistant referee. Those defensive transitions have been something that Pittsburgh have had some sort of up and down moments in this. As you go back to the match against Sporting Jacksonville, they struggled in defensive transitions, really locked in against Louisville City in their most recent match. And they've been clean in large stretches in defensive transitions so far tonight, as Quizera will work that along. Falls right back to him. Bacharach, the former Indiana Hoosier, cycled back over. Here's Quizera looking to switch the point of the attack, and does. Jose Quizera surveys. Bacharach will leave it back off for him. Now Shapiro Thompson. Rhode Island, they've really favored this right-hand channel so far tonight. That seems to be the area that they want to try to create the most overloads in against Pittsburgh. Now they go to the weak side. Here they are down that left alley, racing forward with it. That ball skips toward the end line and ultimately corralled back in by Campuzano. There is an injured Rhode Island player, though, over near that far corner.
Cano Smith not happy with this call. It was Sanchez who gets tangled up as that ball was staying in continuously. The play was on. But Sanchez streaking down that weak side, taking contact there by the back line of Pittsburgh.
The USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to USLChampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Dequa trying to glance that one along into the path of Goldthorpe, drilled away. Turn back out wide and upfield in the vicinity of Josiah Quizera. The throw quickly taken here by Rhode Island. There's Frank Nodarse. Didn't like his options ahead. Instead cycles it back over to Coque Vegas. Nodarse was a player that Cano Smith almost voluntarily so made a point to highlight in our conversation earlier with him in the week, mainly about his versatility, about what he brings to this team. I thought it was so interesting because building off of that, one of the outlets that covers this Rhode Island team, the Raising Anchor podcast, they brought this up as well about Nodarse's ability to just play really anywhere on the pitch and how important it is to have him on the field at any time. Almost a metronome, so to speak. As he goes, so does Rhode Island.
And he scored that winning goal against Hartford in their last match. And his head coach, Cano Smith, just said how calm under pressure he is. And as a center back, or as any sort of defender, you really want to be able to have calm, just tactics, calm mind under pressure. And he's done that well in this Pittsburgh game as well, and really just allowed them to play higher up the pitch, whether he's doing it himself, taking the risks and going, or facilitating that play higher. He has been key in their back line this season.
Connor Smith said that in that El Clamico win against Hartford, he played two positions. They started him at left back and to cycle him over to center back, just underscoring that tactical flexibility. No score, but the stats tell the story right now. 2 shots on target for Pittsburgh, but possession rests with Rhode Island. Visitors just haven't been able to make the most so far of their large share of the ball. Meanwhile, here's Pittsburgh trying to open things up, courtesy of Perrin Barnes. This cross flashed in, headed down and wide. It's Trevor Ammon finally getting his first touches on that ball of the second half, but no danger presented by it.
And he's being defended well. Again, credit to Rhode Island. They know that he's going to be a target for those crosses in the box. Robbie Mertz took that one very quickly, knowing that he could have opportunity to stay open and be open. His tall frame allows him to have a little bit of an advantage, but with Dequa in the box as well, he's another opportunity and another goal scorer for this Pittsburgh side. They might have to start targeting him more.
Into the path here of Quizera on the right. Good diagonal ball over to Williams. Williams splitting 2 defenders, almost beat them both, but instead it's Danny Griffin picking his pocket. Back down the pitch, that one sails. And Pittsburgh no choice but to hammer this one away from any potential danger. Over toward Dequa. Now Darce with it, he's toppled, and this will be another whistle. Darce, he's been on the receiving end of a couple sturdy challenges, so to speak, here in this contest.
He's holding his left hand, it seems like, after that play, when he went to ground trying to break his fall. When you get in too many tackles, sometimes you have to just be aware of, okay, how is my body feeling? Is it okay to take this much contact? And he'll do it regardless, knowing that that is a part of his position, but he has taken some hits in this game so far.
The aforementioned Darce, part of the USL Championship Team of the Week, second time in 2026. Trying to split open the defense here is Fusen. Picked up by Perrin Barnes once more. Perrin Barnes has covered so much ground in this contest. That work rate is through the roof right now for number 3 in black and yellow.
He's taken on that responsibility, and it's what he has been called to do here and play this role in this position, whether he has to get back into the back lane, like you see him on the far side of your screen right now, into that defensive structure. And as soon as they win the ball, they're asking him to open up and really stretch the field, be the width, or rotate inside. Either way, doing a ton of running and a ton of work for that Pittsburgh outside back role.
Encroaching upon the hour mark here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Still no goals between Rhode Island and Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Consecutive throws coming here for the home side as that one knocked out of play. Assistant referee had initially ruled it a Pittsburgh throw. Quizera arguing it should be Rhode Island's. Center referee concurs. And it will in fact be a throw for the visitors. As Nick Scardino will put it back into play. A number of new faces on this team in 2026 coming over from the Charlotte FC organization in Major League Soccer. Spent a lot of time with their next pro affiliate, Crown Legacy. That ball will spill out of play, and as has been the theme so far in this match, it's really been a battle of throw-ins for both of these teams as Perrin Barnes is slow to get back to his feet. And now Abdu Njai will officially signal for the trainers to come on to tend to Barnes. There's a look at Rob Vincent, the manager of this Pittsburgh Riverhounds side. Spent the 2013 through 2015 seasons as a hybrid midfield forward in this organization. 78 appearances, spent some time with DC United as well. Meanwhile, Perrin Barnes is still down.
And we'll get a better look at what happened here. It just looked like as he was going up for the head with, looked like Noah Fuson there. Collided a little bit, but you mentioned it before we've had this injury break. I feel like the ball has spent more time either being thrown in or not in play or in contest between it being in the air, whether it be a goal kick, a free kick, just being the ball being cleared away. Playing a little safe, it seems like, from both sides of the pitch, not wanting to take too many risks, knowing, like I said earlier, that the chess pieces, if you move it ever so slightly, could be an opening somewhere for the other team to slip in. And they don't want that to happen because it is so deadlocked.
Pittsburgh will have to play down a man for the moment as Perrin Barnes ushered off the pitch by Abdu Njai, and now we get a whistle for a foul against the Riverhounds. But especially from the Pittsburgh perspective, that is something that they did so well at against Louisville City. They were decisive, and it really bent the defense, did not allow Lou City to get adjusted, kept them back on their heels. We haven't seen some of that same bite and decisiveness so far in this match.
I think it's because Rhode Island has done a very good job at staying organized. They're not overwhelmed when Pittsburgh is throwing numbers forward, and they've actually broken the press of the Hounds very well. Whether they're electing with going long and being okay with that to try to win the ball higher up the pitch just to get away from that initial pressure, or they're doing those 1 and 2 little touch passes to really get around the press. They just haven't had any success in this half higher up the pitch, but I think you have to credit Rhode Island. They're doing a very good job of withstanding the pressure that Pittsburgh is putting on them tonight.
Pittsburgh will go direct with this one, looking for Goldthorpe, and all over it was that back line of Rhode Island. Turned over promptly, though, and Walty not wasting any time. Thought about taking that quick throw. Pittsburgh wasn't ready for it as we have crossed over. That hour mark elapsed. Walty, he was the long throw specialist in the first half. Thought about going back to the well. Instead spins it in over to Barnes, who goes through the half space. In behind now. Here is Souza. Goes across goal. Looking for that cutback and instead possessed by Coque Vegas. The Riverhounds, rather, can't watch the match. Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Lofted back across, back post, headed down and in! J.J. Williams bringing vengeance, bringing it all to Pittsburgh, and Rhode Island are on the board, 1-0.
FC goal, his 7th of the season for number 9, J.J. Williams. Assisted by number 22, his 3rd of the season, Nicholas.
And that's the danger of J.J. Williams and this Rhode Island side, creating something out of nothing. They picked the ball higher up the pitch. Fantastic 1v1 work here, and then J.J. Williams was unmarked on the back post, doing what he does so well, just putting the ball away at point blank range. He's not going to miss that with his head. He heads it down just in case. Campuzano can do nothing about it because he was coming towards this near post. And just like that, Rhode Island reverses the script on what was building for the Riverhounds here in the second half.
The star man for Rhode Island, giving the visitors sudden life and a lead away from home. A player that, in the words of his manager, Cano Smith, is so important. The heartbeat of this team, essentially.
And it was Scardina who gets the assists there. The right back for this Rhode Island side. Fantastic 1v1 dribbling there. He attracted so many numbers and then still got that cross off. He had so many numbers being attracted to him. Nobody was on that back post with J.J. Williams. And right now, Pittsburgh has to respond quickly. Cannot give the ball away like they just did.
Back on the attack here is Rhode Island FC. Tucson was trying to carry it along, couldn't hold on to it though, and it's worked back over to Campuzano. Really from about that 25th minute on through this contest, it has been a match that, while Rhode Island has had the possession advantage, tonally it has felt a bit in favor of Pittsburgh. But to your point, you just fall asleep on that ball across goal, and now all of a sudden you're behind the 8 ball. And if you're Rhode Island, you have a real chance here to potentially pounce and maybe grab a second quickly.
Continue to put their foot on the gas pedal, and you'll feel that tone of Pittsburgh growing into this match. Obviously home game, your fans are going to be behind you. They were gaining ground. They were having a bit more of the possession in the latter half of the first half. But Rhode Island has, throughout this entire game, has been very, very patient, whether it's in their build-up, whether it's, how they're creating opportunities. That one, again, was very patient. Scardina didn't just beat one defender and then whip the ball, and he attracted 2 and 3 numbers.
More opportunities here. Williams back to goal, top of the area. That one will ricochet into the hands of Pittsburgh's netminder. Make it 7 goals on the season for J.J. Williams, his 56th career goal in USL Championship regular season play. A proven commodity on the offensive side of things for Rhode Island. Now in his 3rd season with the club. On the give and go, here's Perrin Barnes now, stops on a dime. Barnes shovels it over, Souza. Now they thread it back through. Here's Perrin Barnes. Defended tightly there, ended up going out of play, and it will be a corner in favor of Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They had 3 of them in the first half, and this the first of the second half. A Cohen Markets corner for Elliot Goldthorpe. He's been the trigger man on majority of their set pieces so far this evening. while our center referee sounds the whistle. Wants to have a chat with Scardina. Bob Duinjai, he's doing his best to keep this contest under control. It has been one that we've seen some physicality. Nothing over the top, of course, but definitely some physical play between these two teams.
You can very much appreciate a ref that lets the boys play, but also will keep them in check as well.
Absolutely. Goldthorpe in, swinging ball toward goal. Met first by Rhode Island and knocked away clear. Barnes, second ball served back in. And again, Rhode Island all over it. Their set-piece defense has been very strong tonight. Really haven't been much doing for Pittsburgh in their prior 4 corners, including that recent one. Splitting 2, here's J.J. Williams, has one, has his eyes on a second, and goes high and misses goal.
And why not take the shot there? He dribbled through a very passive defense from the Riverhounds, slicing and dicing through his way on that far side. Why not have a rip just outside of the 18? They looked like they were taking their foot off the gas, so he put his on more and almost had another goal for himself.
Just the individual brilliance that's been on display these last 10 minutes or so from J.J. Williams. You start to understand why so many teams in USL Championship have wanted his services. Teams like Tampa Bay, like Phoenix, Tulsa, Birmingham. He's found quite the home here in Rhode Island, being the focal point of that attack and the 2-striker approach. Goldthorpe on the near side. Ready to play it back through over to Dequa. Pass was a bit behind him. He's still able to grab it in, though. And that, I think, is a good underscoring of something we've talked about, some of that indecisiveness we've seen from Pittsburgh in this second half. The pass, just not enough weight behind it, not necessarily knowing where your teammate is going to go. That indecisiveness has hampered them when getting in to the final third so far tonight. As Walty will chuck it in toward the 6, headed back along once more by Griffin. Takes a ricochet off the back heel of Griffin. Still no team able to settle on it. And finally, Grant Stoneman will put a left foot into it, where that will go out of play.
Going back to what you were saying, it's really been those unforced moments for the Riverhounds. The runs are being made. Now, are they quick enough? Are they fast enough? Is the pass going to make it there? It's really what they have been focusing on. But again, you have to credit Rhode Island because their back line and defensive structure has been superb in this game throughout the entire match. Yes, they've given up a few shots, but only 3, and only 2 of those have been truly on target. They've gotten bodies in front of the ball. They've pushed players out wide and not in ways that allow Pittsburgh to create chances, but more for them to use the line as another defender for them and really win the ball back that way.
A goal from J.J. Williams almost 7 minutes ago. That has been the difference maker so far for Rhode Island. The Steel Army roaring back to life here in Pittsburgh. Hoping they can will some magic into the boots here of the Riverhounds. Stepping past one is Goldthorpe. Defender takes a tumble. Goldthorpe's going to be shown a whistle for a foul. And that will bring about an end to that spell of possession for Pittsburgh. Meanwhile, Rhode Island, a chance to make their first change of the evening. Dwayne Atkinson, who has bagged 3 goals in 10 prior appearances, will come on. Agustin Rodriguez, the Argentinian, his evening is done after 71 minutes of play.
Rodriguez on a yellow card has put in a fantastic shift here tonight, defensively, offensively for this Rhode Island side. Atkinson can allow some help on the offensive end. He can score goals for them if he needs to, but also just fresh legs out there for Rodriguez, who has been up and down this pitch. Will be helpful for them as well.
It goes back to something that Rob Vincent had said earlier in the week for Pittsburgh, that this Rhode Island team just has a spoil of riches in terms of their offensive production. You bring a guy with 3 goals on the year off the bench. Bodies tumbling all around right now for the visitors. And that forces Abdu Njai to whistle this contest to a halt. Now a yellow card to boot as well, adding insult to injury, so to speak, for Pittsburgh. It's Victor Souza shown a yellow. It's the swipe of the hand across the face there of Sanchez sent him tumbling down. And number 5 in black and yellow shown a yellow. Look, it's a passionate fan base here in Pittsburgh for good reason. They've had a lot of success. It's not often you see the ball kid getting into the jeering of the official as well.
You appreciate the support, the passion,
Absolutely.
the love for the game.
Yes, you do. It has been unfriendly confines for Rhode Island, but they, to this point, have walked in. And they have the lead late in this contest, approaching the final 15 minutes, plus stoppage time to go. On the restart off the free kick driven in, still knocked away, falls top of the area, and finally lifted clear by Pittsburgh. That is where Coque Vegas will work things back down. Kozera, the leave off. Here's Fuson, whose shot is blocked. Suddenly, what for large stretches of this contest was a Rhode Island team that was content to absorb a little bit of pressure from Pittsburgh, settle into that mid and low block. Now they're really going for it these last couple minutes, flipping the script here.
The game has definitely opened up for them after they scored that goal. You saw the Riverhounds try to create some momentum, but it really hasn't panned out for them. And so Rhode Island, what are they going to do? They're going to swing the momentum back their way as well. Take more opportunities on goal if they can, maintain a little bit more possession as this game wears on and the time does start to trickle away. You'll see a little bit more gamesmanship from them, just wanting to keep possession and circulate the ball around. But if they have time and they feel like they can, why not go for goal?
Essentially lulling Pittsburgh into like a false sense of security, so to speak.
Post-game meal partner is Noodles & Company. Noodles & Company has a dish for everyone, from mac and cheese to Italian pasta classics, Asian noodles to fresh salads.
So during that play, Sanchez actually lost his contact. They were looking for it on the field. He's getting a new one now, as you can see. I have glasses. I played in contacts. It is detrimental if you do not have one out there as a person that needs them to see. He, in those last plays before he just put his other contact in, was using one eye to see out of. That can distort everything, but for one to be blurry and one to be clear, that is something in and of itself to play with. So glad he could put that one back in.
Real grit and fight shown there by Sanchez.
They were looking for the contact actually on the field during the foul. And I was thinking when they were looking at it, there's no way they're going to be able to find that on the pitch whatsoever.
The Riverhounds return to F&B Stadium on Saturday, August 8th at 7 p.m. to take on Sacramento Republic. Be one of the first fans through the gates and take home a limited edition AMO Hype Train collectible giveaway. Supplies are limited, so arrive early, get loud, and cheer on the Hounds. Get your tickets now at riverhounds.com. Before we went on the air, I learned a fascinating piece of trivia that the name of the mascot for Pittsburgh is actually an acronym that stands for the first letter of the 3 rivers here in Pittsburgh: Allegheny, Monongahela, and Ohio.
The more you know.
The more you know, right? If you're watching at home and you had that on your bingo card, congratulations, you win. Meanwhile, long throw in here for Stoneman toward goal. Clearance falls back to the feet of Rhode Island. Here's Stoneman, second bite of the apple, curling in, fumbling with it is Campuzano, but ultimately makes the grab. Funneled ahead, here's Perrin Barnes. Rhode Island came into this contest wanting to take away some of those wide spaces. They have done that through large junctures of this match. Barnes cutting back centrally. Now here's Goldthorpe, boots this back stick, and it'll sail out. Some frustration starting to bubble over here for Pittsburgh. Dequa again pleading for a whistle that he won't receive. And as that ball goes out, it gives way to a trio of changes here for Rob Vincent and Pittsburgh. Junior Etu will come on. He is flanked by Sam Bassett, as well as Charles All. Three sets of fresh legs trotting on the pitch, including the aforementioned Sam Bassett, who is back for Pittsburgh with his 3 goals and now 12 appearances in 2026 for the former Colorado Rapids homegrown. Transitioning into the attack, All trying to run it down, and All will pluck that ball free away from Sanchez. And for Charles All's efforts, able to win a whistle here. A free kick, albeit from an awkward angle for Pittsburgh. Still something late in terms of offense.
They need anything that they can get right now. That's part of the reason why these subs are on the pitch. They need fresh legs. They need to level this one. They'll play this set piece like a corner. Using his right foot, this ball will curve in towards, or out towards the players, not in towards the goal, so they can run on it and put it back where it comes from this free kick by Robbie Mertz.
The 28-year-old Pittsburgh native shadows over this ball. Mertz hammers this into the area off the half volley, still free around goal, and curled away by Rhode Island. Etu swings the ball back in, knotted down. Man took a tumble, and it will go out of play for a corner to Pittsburgh. You see the camera shake on your screen for good reason. These fans on their feet. A late corner coming up on 10 minutes remaining here, and it's a Cohen Markets corner for Pittsburgh. Quickly taken, outswinging ball. Again, Rhode Island set-piece defense not conceding any ground right now.
Absolutely nothing, and they're the first to every single ball that has been put in the box, whether it's a corner, a set-piece, free kick, or a throw-in.
Long throw finds the head of J.J. Williams for Rhode Island FC. Cleared all the way back down by Quizera, and that is where Etu has to chase it back down. You had said it at the start of this broadcast that this was the kind of matchup or what team wins the second ball. The third ball likely would be the one that could come out the other side. We've seen over the course of this contest, especially on set pieces, that's been Rhode Island. They have been the team to that second ball, that third ball, and just crisp in their clearances away.
You can see it in just the way that they're moving and their mentality as well. You know, JJ Williams gets excited and throws his fist for everything he wins. That is infectious to a team.
Etu able to draw another whistle against Rhode Island, and it's a free kick once more for Pittsburgh. Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. And there's not a bad seat in the house to be had here at F&B Stadium. The train goes by, the drum beats along, and Pittsburgh hoping this will be the moment of magic. Lifted back toward goal, a lot of chaos in front, punched away by Coque Vegas. Vegas hasn't been asked to do much in terms of the save department tonight. That's just his third save of the evening. But when they've needed him in distribution, in possession, and when they need him to make the big save, their captain has been there. Tucked back inside, here's the captain, Griffin. Peels it back over to Victor Souza. Walty walks it forward, Etu connecting with Bassett. Bassett's pass knocked away by Quizera. First to the punch, though, was Owen McCoy to pick up the pieces. Half turn, Lassa Kelp pinching forward, had it for a moment. One back though by Rhode Island. And Pittsburgh will take it right back away from their opposition. Lifted along by Griffin, out wide. It's Robbie Mertz on the right. Mertz wants the service in. Seeking Dequa, headed back along by Kelp and collected by Coque Vegas.
Had the right idea there to head it down to Etu, but just a little bit too harsh on the head.
Quizera can't get past Lassa Kelp, who rolls it over to Campuzano. We talked so much about the wide areas for Pittsburgh, about wanting to get into the wide space and then drive that ball back in. Even when they have gotten wide, there haven't been many options, but now an opportunity here. It's Etu, cuts it across, falling out the other side, parried away by Vegas. The most crucial save he's made tonight, keeping Rhode Island in front.
This time they do use the wide areas. Jackson Walty attracting defenders, dumping this off, and then just a slip ball through. The initial run attracts all of the attention. Mertz was just streaking on that back post, but couldn't get the right hit on it.
Lifted in by Charles All on that Cohen Markets corner. A collision of bodies inside the area. Play will continue on though. Walty clips it out wide in the path of All. The cutback in front, falls over to Etu. Shot deflected by Quizera, and Etu can't keep it in the lines of play. Pittsburgh will make a change, as will Rhode Island. Max Vieira will come on, the former Georgetown Hoya for Pittsburgh. 14th appearance of 2026 for Vieira. Well, Danny Rovira will come on for Rhode Island. Just the second change for Rhode Island on the night. Helped along over to the aforementioned Max Vieira, the native of Chicago. Just about 4 minutes plus stoppage time to go until we get the full-time whistle from Abdou Njai. These sides came in just 4 points separated in the Eastern Conference table. Rhode Island trying to trim that deficit. They have a game in hand on Pittsburgh this season. Riverhounds have played 15 coming into this evening's fixture. Rhode Island, this just their 15th match of 2026. Skipped over to Etu, who steps inside on one. Etu going to the byline off the side netting, and it spills out of play.
Veteran move by Koke Vegas to not put his hands on that one. He had the front post covered just in case the ball was curling in, recognized that it was going on the outside of the net and lets it go. Without him, this Rhode Island side would be in a bit of a mess. He has come up massive here in these last 10-15 minutes since the Riverhounds have made those subs and have pushed the pace here.
Those subs have brought so much to the table for Pittsburgh, but an errant decision there for Victor Souza, heading it out of play, and suddenly Rhode Island able to tilt the field in their favor.
Miscommunication there in the back line. In tight games like these, it's something that you can't have happen, especially late on in this match when you need as much as the ball as possible. But one you also have to just shake off and defend for your life here to not let this one go in.
Rhode Island attacking in the face of the Steel Army here at the Paul Child stand. Shapiro Thompson to the back post, seeking Bacharach. The second ball will just fumble over to the byline. Picked up, though, by Shapiro Thompson. And now we get a whistle for a stoppage from Abdou Njai. Miscommunication all around for both teams, and now play is officially back underway. Pittsburgh, you can tell they're playing with a real sense of desperation these last couple minutes. Walty rather all with it, all written down, but the official says no foul. The Hounds, they want the service. It's blocked away. McCoy over to Bassett, work back over to Owen McCoy. Lofted ahead, Williams will run on to the other end of it. Here's Williams, slides it over. Second effort, top of the area, looking for a shooting lane was Fuson. Williams cross, blocked out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for joining us here tonight. It's another sellout crowd of 6,012. Thank you for joining us here at FMB Stadium.
Another change made by Cano Smith and company. CJ Williams will come on, the former Boston College man at the collegiate level. Spelling Noah Fuson. 4 minutes of stoppage time, according to our fourth official. Vegas will lift that one out of play. It'll be a late throw here for Pittsburgh. That's a Kelp moving quickly with it. Bassett trying to dance through defenders. Did take a deflection. And he'll stay here with Pittsburgh. It'll be a free kick, in fact, according to Abdu Njai. Bassett has a hit and sails that one out to his right. Once again, coated well so defensively by Rhode Island. Almost 90 seconds of the 4 minutes handed out for stoppage time have elapsed. There's Pittsburgh. They glance it toward goal, and Vegas will see that in all the way. Campuzano now, long with that on the ball forward. Kelp trying to take a hit off the half volley. It spills in toward goal, and Dikwa's effort stymied again by Koke Vegas.
Dikwa there just doing everything he can to try to put the ball in the back of the net. He wasn't facing towards goal and did what he could with a defender on his back. Cheeky, but Koke Vegas has been so locked in this whole game. Nothing is going to get past him at this point.
4 saves tonight for Vegas, is all trying to lead the way in for Dikwa. Turned aside, it falls over to Vieira. Walty cuts centrally. McCoy. Lateral with it. Here's Victor Souza, lofts this ahead into a chaos crowd. Clipped back forward by All, goes glancing off the head of Kelp. And the reaction from Charles All says it all. Just not what Pittsburgh was hoping for in that moment. And Koke Vegas and company inching ever closer to grabbing 3 points on the road. Whipped all the way back down. That is where Campuzano will grab it. Less than a half minute remaining until we get that whistle from Abdu Njai. Rhode Island, they haven't fared exactly well away from home this year. Just 2 wins to open up their away campaign in 2026. Seconds away, though, from a momentous victory in a venue that is so difficult to win in for the opposition. They'll have a late throw here. There it is. Abdu Njai whistles for full time, and Rhode Island waltzes into the fort of FNB Stadium and walks off with all 3 points.
A fantastic game for Rhode Island, who grew into this one, but this game was played mostly in between the 18-yard boxes of this pitch. Fantastic night for Koke Vegas, and Rhode Island will walk away with 3 points on the road, deservedly, after a well-fought game. Very even on pretty much every side, but it only takes one opportunity, and Rhode Island put that one away.
Kanu Smith, he said his only message to the team in terms of the importance of this game closing the gap with Pittsburgh Riverhounds. That gap has closed. What was 4, now down to 1 point separating these teams in the Eastern Conference table. And in a losing effort for Pittsburgh, it's Elliot Goldthorpe who is tonight's man of the match, presented by Modelo, celebrating those with a fighting spirit, like Elliot Goldthorpe, whose determination and skill truly embody the mark of a fighter. It is all over in the Steel City, and Rhode Island are riding high, taking 3 points back home with them. We'll head to break and return to wrap it all up.
At FNB, we rewrote the rules of banking and made getting everything you need a whole lot easier. Experience the one-of-a-kind eStore Common app. Checking, savings, loans, credit cards. One application, done in minutes. No hoops, no hassles, no surprises. Just one common app for more than 50 business and consumer products.
Can your bank do that? Didn't think so.
Welcome to FNB. Let's get started.
Here in Pittsburgh, strength, pride, and teamwork matter. Just like at Home Genius Exteriors, a top-rated roofing, siding, windows, and doors contractor. Call now and get 50% off roofing materials, plus no payments till 2027. And we're proud to offer an extra 10% military discount. Schedule your free, no-obligation home inspection today. Call 412-528-6526. Home Genius Exteriors, proud sponsor of your Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
Join the Circle of Life at the Lion King. Experience the world's #1 musical. Don't miss your chance to see The Lion King, one of the most awe-inspiring productions ever brought to life on stage.
Returning to Pittsburgh for 3 weeks only this September. Get your tickets today at trustarts.org.
We're back in Pittsburgh. A 1-0 result in favor of the visitors. Rhode Island FC to pick up win number 6 on the year. Alongside Jade Barquette, Jake Griffith, glad to have you with us for our post-match wrap-up here in USL Match Week 21 in championship play. A chance to take a look at our full-time highlights presented by Corona, and what was a real cagey first 45 minutes. Slanted a bit in favor of Pittsburgh.
It truly did, and Rhode Island were really the ones to first strike, and it was this save from Nico Campuzano that really put them in a position where they felt like they could have some momentum going forward. Rhode Island was really throwing a lot of numbers and momentum at them from all angles, from the wide angles and from up top in this match.
That was the save of the match presented by Edgar Snyder and Associates. Later in the contest, glancing header along, and another save from Coque Vegas.
And he would come up massively for this Rhode Island side throughout this game, but he made clean saves the entire way. Perrin Barnes with that header there.
And here is the play of the match presented by Epic Insurance for Pittsburgh, and Elliot Goldthorpe almost breaking the deadlock.
He just crowded around with numbers and traffic in front of him. He still got the shot off, and it was deflected for a corner. They could not capitalize on that play, though.
Then, as the contest would carry along into the 62nd minute, Rhode Island, they would have the breakthrough.
It was Scardina who just attracted, you see 1, 2, 3 players around him. Nobody is marking J.J. Williams on that back post, and he heads it home.
We take a look at our full-time stats presented by Restano Heating and Cooling. If you're Pittsburgh, Jade, you're going to walk away from this contest feeling so frustrated. You hold Rhode Island to 1 shot on target. You have so many delightful opportunities, and yet you're held goalless.
You couldn't put it in a way, and I think it started from how they started this match. It was a little bit lax, and they allowed Rhode Island to take over from the beginning. They traded punches and didn't do a lot throughout the match in terms of really having a ton of firepower chances. They waited a little bit towards the end when they were already down 1 goal. But yes, frustrating, like you mentioned, for Pittsburgh.
It is all final in Pittsburgh. Rhode Island sails into the Steel City, and what felt like an odyssey of an adventure, they walk off with all 3 points on this Saturday night in USL Championship. For producer Kiara Rodriguez, director Gabe Sosa, my partner Jade Barquette, and the rest of our broadcast team, I'm Jay Griffith saying so long, Rhode Island. Grab all 3 on the road.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.